Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Friday, March the 15th. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCBC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take all in one take. It is game day, the Vancouver Canucks host the New Jersey Devils tonight at Rogers Arena. I'll be going to the game with my lovely wife, Gail, also my son, Sean, and his lovely girlfriend, Fernanda, are going to the game. So 3 Emos and 1 Fernanda at the game tonight, and we're seeing the Canucks go for back-to-back wins for the first time since January. Well, they've gone for back-to-back wins before, but they haven't accomplished it. So they have not won back-to-back games since they went Detroit and Buffalo, I think in that order, in January. So almost 2 months since their last 2-game win streak. So including tonight, there are 12 games left in the season. So I thought today I'd very quickly talk about 5 things, 5 storylines that I'll be following for the last dozen games of the season. And I'd love to hear your comments below about all 5, about the one that you're most intrigued with, whatever it may be. Leave a comment below. Okay, here we go. Number 1, let's talk about Elias Pettersson. Will he win the Calder trophy or not? He's slowed down now. I think he has 57 points in 58 games, or 57 or 58 and 59, whatever it is. I know he's just 1 point below the number of games he's played now. And, a points per game pace is obviously very good for any player, let alone a rookie. So I still think that it's his trophy to win. Despite what Binnington has done in St. Louis, he's cooled off a little bit. St. Louis has cooled off a little bit as a team, in fact. So although Binnington had a good run, I don't think it's enough to unseat Pettersson unless he gets 6 shutouts in the next 12 games or whatever, and Pettersson somehow doesn't score another point. So I think it is still Pettersson's trophy to lose. Binnington and Rasmus Dahlin of Buffalo likely being the 2 other candidates. But yeah, what do you think about that? Is Elias Pettersson still the favorite to win the Calder Trophy? I say yes. Number 2, Brock Boeser. Will he get to 30 goals? He's at 23 right now, and you might say, Clay, 7 goals in 12 games is a lot, but not for a streaky, in a good way, a streaky player like Brock Boeser. We know that he's capable of putting 2, 3, even 4 in the net in one game. Hasn't done that a lot this year, but there's still 12 games to go against some weaker competition. And we know that Brock Boeser is playing for a new contract. He's an RFA, so the Canucks will look to extend him this summer. So I think that's an interesting storyline to watch. So that's number 2. Do you think Brock Boeser will get to 30 goals? Or if not, what do you think he will wind up? Remember, he's got 12 games left, and he's sitting at 23 right now. Number 3, Louis Eriksson. What happens to him? Healthy scratch on Wednesday night against the Rangers. We know that this is year 3 of a 6-year contract. It's going to be very hard to buy him out. I'm not sure if you're allowed to. It's going to be hard to trade him. Do you bury him in the minors? What do you do with him, with Louis Eriksson going forward? Obviously, he has a lot of pride. He's owed a lot of money. And the Canucks obviously had bigger plans for him when he came into the season 2.5 years, came into the club 2.5 years ago. So Louis Eriksson, do you expect him to be benched even more over these next 12 games, or do you expect him back in the lineup starting tonight? That is number 3. Number 4, Quinn Hughes. Is he going to play this season? I talked about yesterday the fact that they're going to reevaluate him in a week. It's not he's playing in a week. They're going to decide in a week what happens. And even if they decide that he can play, look for him to get a couple practices in with the team before he starts. So he might not even start playing until next weekend. Then that's only 8 or 9 games left in the season. And then there becomes a point where, well, is it even worth him playing this year? Of course, Canucks fans want to see him. Of course, I guess his teammates and coaches and management want to see him. But at what point does it even make sense to play him? Gaudette played 5 games last year. Boeser played 9 games the year before. So maybe the minimum is 5, right? If he's going to play 1, 2, 3, 4 games, is that even worth it? So something to keep in mind, worth it with respect to, making sure his ankle is fully healthy. So how many games will Quinn Hughes play? We won't even be able to move towards an answer to that until next week when he gets reevaluated. And number 5, how many games will Thatcher Demko play? I've talked many times before how Jacob Markstrom has 1 year left on his contract after this. Then he becomes a UFA. Got to figure out what we're going to do with him. Meanwhile, Thatcher Demko, goalie of the future, supposedly, barely played this season. He's had a couple injuries, started the year off late, then had that knee injury a few weeks ago. So the Canucks have 12 games left. If they're not going to make the playoffs, which is mathematically they're still able to, but let's be realistic here, as much as I want them to. How many games should Demko play? You think with 12 games left, it'd be great if he played 6 or 7. That's not realistic. Do you think he'll play 4 or 5? I think that's the bare minimum. If he plays 3 or less, that's almost another wasted year. Put Demko in. I'd say put him in for half the games, but put him in at least for 4 or 5 and see how he does and see what we have going into next year. Because even in the summer, if they want to start negotiating with Markstrom, or if they're going to wait to see how he does next year, we're going to obviously, a large part of that is going to be how confident the Canucks are in Thatcher Demko. So those are the 5 questions I have, 5 things that I'm going to be looking at, analyzing, really, interested in over the next dozen games, the last 12 games of the season. Number 1, Elias Pettersson, does he win the Calder? Number 2, Brock Boeser, does he get to 30 goals? Number 3, Louis Eriksson, how many games will he be scratched for in the next 12? Number 4, Quinn Hughes, will he play, and how many? And Thatcher Demko, how many will he play? Canucks fans, I'd love to read your comments below on all 5 issues, on whatever 1 or 2 you want to talk about. Whatever it is, I will read and react and do my best to reply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Again, if you're going to tonight's Canucks game, my son Sean is sitting in my usual seats in 319. I'm just looking where my seats are. I'm sitting there with my lovely wife Gail, and we will be, it looks like, in section 113 tonight. So if you're around, come say hi. Vancouver, New Jersey. I was going to talk about Bo Horvat, well, the 9th overall pick, which turned out to be Bo Horvat for the Corey Schneider trade, but that was like back in 2013. That's so 6 years ago. Maybe if this was a Thursday and a throwback Thursday, I would have done that. But hey, it's always a good story to see, and to see how Horvat has developed. All right, Canucks fans, thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.